Hello. Good afternoon. Uh, it's actually 2 p.m., so it's a good evening. And if you're watching this video in the morning, good morning. Even though I don't watch videos in the morning, but I just say good morning. Could be 11 a.m., could be 10 a.m. Whenever watching this video, I just want to say, hey, Happy New Year once again. It's Tuesday. This is the first Tuesday of the month of January 2026. So today, next week, the class is kicking off. So on January 12th, the classes are going to kick off. That being said, yeah, it's cold outside, so I'll be making videos outside, even though I could. But I will be making videos inside the house like this, and hopefully you will enjoy this video that I'm making. And first of all, I need to the reality kicks in. For the past few weeks, I've been driving to Virginia for other things that I was doing, but now the reality kicks in. So the school is starting. The events are opening up in DC, and things are getting back to normal, right? The operations are getting back to normal. So this week I was registering for new classes. I'm taking 4 classes this week. So 4 classes from my advisor told me to take 4 classes. And if the camera's perfect, there we go. It's good. I'm supposed to take 4 classes, right? And that's last semester. They call it semester. We call it quarter. They don't use quarter system here, so it's 4 months instead of 3 months. So this is called spring instead of winter. So they don't have winter courses or winter semester, whatever they call it semester. So anyways, so as a semester, I'm taking the last semester I took 3 classes, which was the total was 9 units, and this semester, this spring, I'm taking 4 with the total of 12 units, I believe. Yeah, it should be 12 units. So that's what I have. And so last couple weeks, that was last year in December, the end of December, I was supposed to register as soon as possible. I don't know the deadline because I really don't follow up as much, but I was supposed to register my classes. So I was able to register 2 classes. One was the energy and environmental economics, and I believe I have a calendar here that should be public finance. Wait a minute. Where is it? Yeah, public finance. So public finance and energy was, yeah, energy and environment. Those are 2 courses that I registered for. I was able to register last month. Then I went to an issue where I was not able to register for the other 2 classes. So I emailed the professor, the advisor. He told me to register, gave me the permission to register. So today I just registered right now. That means I have 4 classes fully, and I have other things to do. Like I'm applying for internships. So things are like I say, things are opening up in DC. So jobs are opening back up. I said things are gonna get better. And there's someone on YouTube who told me, and I appreciate you, whoever responded to that, things are getting back better. So yeah, things are getting better now. Things are opening up. Internships are opening up. Events are opening up. So I'm gonna be really busy with 4 classes, Monday to Thursday, non-stop. It's gonna be really hard. I don't know if we will be doing any research in this course, but you never know. This can change. That's all I have registered. So the international trade, the classes, I can read the description here. I don't know if the camera is watching, but yeah, the description or the course information says this advanced undergraduate course, big theories of international trade, and use them to address post issues by the end of the semester. You should be able to read it. Yeah. Anyway, so these are the things that you have to sort of take. Then they have like big data. They have like a lot of these things are just repetitive from my undergrad. So it won't be it won't be new to me. It won't be something that is new. It's the same stuff. Anyways, moving on. I have the data from Cargo. Cargo is like a database, and the data is the banking, failing banks. My own thing I wanna do right now is having the data, like a banking data, that I can use to add other data from other sources like employment, capital, consumer expenditures, deposit, like all these other data. Then trying to sort of study and mess around with it and see what insights can I come up with. Because a lot of jobs that you get, many jobs that you get, they they actually ask you to make your own decisions. Like when you go to school, you get a degree, like you finish school. When you get a job in any field, any professional job, the company would expect you to do something for by your own choices. You have to choose which to use. So sometimes the company might give you like their own stuff, like their own tools. They may tell you use this data, use Python or use SQL, like they may tell those things, but it's better if you are capable of making your own decisions in a company, especially if you're a professional, a master's degree student. So this is how I start. You just like simply like this that's how it works. I'm thinking right now what can I work on, because I know one of these 4 classes, professors are gonna ask me or all the class that campus on data, then use that data to write a paper or do research about it. So it's like I'm doing right now. I'm just looking for the data, and I already have the banking data. So I'm trying to use the banking data to study. I'm trying to understand how does when the banks fail, how does that affect other things like capital fundings or private equity, real estate, and we know employment rate is already affected, but I could look into that as well. So it was very interesting when I probed the data. I saw a lot of banks that I was not expecting. Even like reading the banks, like the name of the bank, they kind of like gives you a different feeling. There's a different feeling when you look at the data. This data also does have they acquired, like which bank acquired the other bank, because when the bank failed, it does re-merge with another bank or it gets bought by another bank. So for now, as I'm looking for other data to add on to this, I am going to sort of like mess around with this data, trying to understand like which city this data is based on. Like for instance, the Armena State Bank is based in Santa Clara, which is in San Jose, California, where I lived. But you have banks like Silicon Valley Bank, which failed in my time. I had that. I was in California. I was in the news, right? And the many banks in here. It's a lot of them, right? So I might use this to see who acquired them, right? Then my goal was to understand the time series. Does the time between banks failing, does that the what happened in that time? Was there any effects on things like maybe, for instance, new innovation? Does technology increase or decrease when banks fail? Any bank fail. It could also attend to the local economy, like maybe download the data from San Francisco and try to understand if San Francisco's economy somehow got affected when the bank, First Republic Bank, shut down or went bankruptcy. So that's something that I want to look into. The reason why I do this is because, like, banks controls our lives. I asked a friend a couple days ago, like just like a rhetorical question, like, what did you do if your bank she uses Capital One? What did you do if the bank shuts down? Like, your bank, you wake up in the morning and your bank is no longer open, like it's closed, and she panicked. Even though it was just like a question, but she was like, her face changed. She's like, "Oh my God, I cannot. I'll be stressed out. I'll be really stressed out because I don't have any cash on me. I use digital money, so I use cards to buy anything, food, rent, water, gas. And when banks shuts down, when banks fail, usually money became useless, right? The prices go up, people start to use cash. Cash becomes more important, and when the cash loses value, people go on to trade other things: jewelry, gold, prostitution, whatever, people's lives, kidney, right? But the understanding banks is really a key. One of the things that makes countries fall is the banks. Venezuela is an example. Venezuela failed because of the inflation and the banks could not keep up, right? So banks are the most heavily regulated by governments. Government has to keep an eye on banks to understand how they work. So even though I may now necessarily work in a bank because it's not a fun place to work, it's fun, working for a couple of years at JP Morgan as an investment banker, make some money and move on. That'll be worth it, right? But it's not my favorite thing to do. It's not my favorite place for me to work. But I try to understand how does this play out? How does banks basically influence anything? But how to do this is very hard because I only have few data here. I only have the name of the bank, the city that they are in, the state, certificate of the bank, then the acquiring institution, then closing date, the date it was closed, and the fund. I don't know the fund means how much, I'm not too sure. But I'm planning on adding extra data. I'm planning on maybe combining this data into one and then try to, and also there's more missing stuff here because I need to know how many banks are out there. Like I need to have a huge data. I need to have a huge data full of banks around the United States, and then categorize these banks by saying, okay, did the bank fail? Yes. Did this bank not fail? Succeed? Yes. Fail? No. Fail? Succeed? Fail? Yes. And then which one was acquired? Which was not acquired? Have those things in my own database, and then use this for the next every single day. All right. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. But anyway, that's the pretty much the planning right now, is just to have this data available and ready, and then present it in the next month. I haven't figured out how to make a video about my research paper, which I need to present, put on YouTube out there. I also haven't figured out how to create a website on GitHub and deploy all my projects out there, because if I don't deploy them, I'm gonna delete them, right? And that's gonna be useless. Because if I talk about these things and you cannot see them, that will be a problem. So I want to make sure that I can make my GitHub repo working, because I've been having issues with to make it work, but I'm gonna make that work for now. But other than that, that's all for today, and this is not gonna be a like 4 minutes video, me talking nonsense. It's gonna be like a very detailed video. If you have any idea on how I can record a video on my screen, I was trying to use trying to use this software called Zoom. You can record a screen as you present. So I might use that and talk about my research paper. And if I do, I'm gonna upload it on YouTube, and that'll be it. Other than that, thanks for watching, and ciao. Again, pray for Venezuela. I pray that they have peace. I pray that they have. I spoke with a Venezuelan friend yesterday. He didn't seem happy. He didn't want to say much, but I said that there is more people, there is more drug dealers. So inducting one person is not necessarily going to change the situation, right? So that's what I was told yesterday. They didn't like publicly mention it, but it was like, yeah, there are more people. So I don't know if people also, it kind of felt disrespectful to arrest a president in another country as if they arrest even in America, like in the United States, police don't arrest people like that. Like they don't go out there and like pick them up like they're picking a needle, you know. So that was a very, very surprising move from the United States, you know. But this is the beauty of balance of power, because the United States, the U.S. states, you know, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, you know, California, these states are sovereignty. These states have their own regulations and their own rules and their own ways of handling things, you know. And I think this is a good thing, because you can't just go into someone's house and arrest them. And the people who did pass the Constitution, the founding fathers of the United States, the right of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and all those big figures back in the day, they were kind of smart. They knew that someday, if you don't have access to your own weapon, if you don't have the First Amendment and the Second Amendment, the federal government can just come to your house and arrest you as they please, you know. So by giving power to the federal government to handle international issues, now we can see why this Constitution actually was a good thing for the American people, because the federal can do whatever they want to other countries, but they cannot do the same thing for the US, for the American people. You know, like Trump cannot come to your house and arrest you just anyhow if an American, okay? Otherwise, they will be shooting, like a lot of shootings will happen, you know. But the way they went to Venezuela and they picked that guy up and they brought him to New York City just to get indicted by a DEA. It's not even a Supreme Court. It's literally New York City. You know, this is like, imagine Beijing sending the army to Washington, D.C. to arrest Trump. Okay, I wouldn't care if they took him, but arrest Trump and take him over there to get indicted by Beijing. That is insane. And this is not the first time it's happening, by the way. United States has been arresting people for many, many years. They arrest African scammers, they arrest Indian scammers, they arrest a lot of people. So it's been happening for quite some time. We just didn't know about it. Venezuela happened to be a country that has a lot of minerals, and also the country has this guy, the president, was seemed to be very strong with the army, and is rich, yet he has minerals, right? His country is beautiful, his people are very nice. Venezuelans are very nice people, right? So this country has a very good relationship with the United States, except he came in and he became like a very anti-US. But picking him up and bringing him to the United States, but sometimes at some point that wasn't like a good idea. But on the other hand, they didn't hand him over to his own people, because I'm pretty sure if they did, then it would have been his people's fault, and that would have sparked the chaos. So bringing him to the United States, actually Trump takes the blame. Like, he gets to be blamed for this, so no one else gets to take the blame. In Vietnam, US did the same thing. Vietnam went to fight in Vietnam, and they killed a lot of soldiers, and then US withdrew the troops, and the Vietnamese who stayed, who supported the United States, they were all either killed, persecuted, or put in jail. Some had to flee the United States. We see the same thing in Afghanistan. We see the same thing in Iraq, right? Iran, those countries. And the funny part is that Trump is going to be here for the next 3 years. Now we have 1 year already kicked off, so we have 3 more years before he leaves, right? We may get a new president who may come in and say, you know what, we don't want Venezuelans. We want them to go back. Now these people who are celebrating for Trump for arresting Maduro, they could get deported. If they get deported, guess what's going to happen to them? Get killed, right? Because they were seen as traitors. So it just kind of shows how United States does really create issues for other people, creates divisions. But sometimes there's no choice, to be honest. Could there have been a better ways of handling things? I don't know. Okay, I lived in this country for so long. United States is not a perfect country. Okay, it's not a perfect country. It's not heaven. It's a country that they try as humans. They see the best solutions. These are not super genius. Okay, it is a proof that if you work harder, you can actually succeed. If you have leadership skills, you can actually convince people. You can do something. United States is a proof that everything's possible, and it is possible. But people just choose not to. Like when the governments don't give their own people the right to express themselves, if a government doesn't hold their own people accountable to eliminate corruption, that is a proof that they can do it, but they choose not to. So it's a consequences upon consequences upon consequences. But anyway, I'm not gonna go too deep into that. Enough for the Trump drama with Maduro. They are both gangsters. They can all deal by themselves. They both been to jail. They both has been indicted in New York. New York has been indicted, all of them. How strong is New York? I actually don't know. How strong is New York City? I mean, that city seems to be very, very strong. Like, it's stronger than Supreme Court, I guess. Those guys are menace. Like, they don't pray. But anyways, thanks for watching. Like always, peace out. Ciao, ciao. Adios.